So you guys know how much I absolutely hate politics, but this isn't political. This is juicy. I think the absolute moist chocolate cake you could find, Matilda status, that type of moist drama. No, we aren't just going to be dipping our tootsies into this. Honey, we're deep diving today. Okay, not really, but I have an opinion. I gotta rant about it, talk about it with you, and I hope you guys are gonna talk about it back with me. Steven Crowder, the king of mixing comedy and politics. Crowder started working for Fox News, where he eventually posted satirical conservative videos on different platforms.
Remind you of all those violent Tea Party protests you went to? Oh yeah.
Yes, it did.
There weren't any ever. What were you doing that so provoked the left that they beat you up?
Well, you know what, it didn't remind me of a Tea Party. It reminded me of the scene from The Dark Knight Rises. I expected Bane to come out and say, "Lansing is yours, do as you please."
And soon came Louder with Crowder, which had a segment titled Change My Mind, where Crowder would set up a booth at colleges to discuss different topics with college campus students and would get these people heated.
Don't touch me, bro.
Well, I'm not going to touch you, but don't.
I know witchcraft, fool.
I understand.
I'm gonna curse you and your firstborn son. You touch me, bro.
No matter where you lean politically, I think we can all say that it was pretty entertaining. I mean, any type of drama is usually gonna be pretty entertaining to us people who like to watch drama and not be in it. Crowder was hated among many on the left and loved from people on the right. He was known to be a very religious,
does God answer prayers? Well, there's a way to say hello again, haven't seen you in a while.
Christian man that protects women and women do womanly things and wifely duties type person. But recently, Louder with Crowder has dug himself into a pit and he is hated from everyone. The right, the left, and for the first time, these usually battling it out groups are banding together and canceling this man. Now, there were videos that I was very interested in the past. I've talked about them in the past when Steven dipped his toes into what I talk about a lot, fat acceptance, and he infiltrated a fat liberation group at a campus. Now, I checked out more of his content and yeah, it was very interesting. He could make good points. There were other people that would make good points too, but at the end of the day, he kind of turned me off a bit just because the essence of him was very, I am right, I am always right, the way that I see things is correct. And if you watch my videos, you know I'm very middle ground. And I usually try not to judge people from their online persona. I know people could be different online, but the more and more clips that I saw of Crowder, I did think, though he was very funny, just his personality seemed very similar to a lot of mostly men in my family who think that they are up here and women are down here, actually just like kick them to the side type people. Like I said, I don't like to judge people just from little clips that I see on the internet. But then when I saw the 3-minute clip, I was like, you're not helping the idea that I thought of you, Crowder. Steven Crowder is a very godly, traditional man that wanted a godly, traditional woman. Men work and they provide income for their family. The king of the castle. The woman, she bears the children, tends to the home, and takes care of her man. The perfect life for the perfect family. This obviously isn't for everyone, and it's not a bad way to see it. It's not my life, but some people want that type of life. I've learned when dealing with the traditional marriage and me being a product of one, as in my mom didn't work and my dad did. My dad had that very traditional thinking of as long as he takes care of his family, as in provides income and money and food, then he's a good father. As for my mom, she did everything at home, and I mean everything. My dad couldn't even wash a dish after he finished the meal my mom cooked from scratch and brought to him while he sat on his throne. Women's work type men, and I'm not saying that Steven is like this, but
You are not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things,
okay, wait, hold up. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we get to the clip of the fight that broke out because Steven told his 8-month pregnant wife with twins to put gloves on, go to the grocery store, get him food, and walk the dogs while he sits on his butt cheeks and smoke a cigar, I want to talk about this conservative Christian type marriage and what is expected of the woman by reading a passage that many people take straight to the heart, and then bypass all the other demands that God makes in the Bible. Ephesians 5:22-30. Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and is himself its savior. When I grew up, my mom read the Bible to us daily, and there were plenty of passages in the Bible about how men should respect their wives. And the passages that I just read don't mean, according to my mom, you're supposed to be a fly on the wall with no voice and stay barefoot, pregnant, and quiet in the kitchen. And that's very nice that she would reiterate that to me as a child, but from the outside looking in, that's literally how I saw lot in my family and many others. My dad was the ruler. He was the king. What he said goes. If my mom questioned anything he said, he would get angry. If she wasn't doing her wifely duties on his time when he asks and when he wants her to get it done, there's problems. I saw my mom always running around the house like a little maid, tending to my father's every need and wish. And I saw this in so many households. And as long as the man is providing for the family, isn't hitting the woman physically, and he's around, he's looked at as a good husband. So what I learned growing up in that type of environment, my parents' group of friends were very similar, and what I've learned is that divorce is a death sentence. It is the worst possible thing that you could ever do. It is the highest and most evil that someone could do is break the bond called marriage, and if you do, you are scum and you're going to hell. And guess whose wife asked for a divorce?
It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life. What I consider to be my deepest personal failure.
This broke their community, and you have to understand that divorce is huge in many Christian circles because, well, to put it frankly, it's a sin. The Bible states that divorce cannot happen unless someone steps out of the marriage sexually. So to many, that means verbal abuse, that's fine. Physical abuse, that's okay. Not loving each other, pretty much even hating looking at each other, too bad. You gotta stay. It does seem that in many religious circles, they hang God over people's heads to stay in the marriage when it really should end. And we know that if someone in the relationship who is controlling, they will use that to try and control the other party to stay with them. And in Stephen's announcement of his divorce, he was extremely fixated on the fact that his wife was legally allowed to leave him.
Oh, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted.
Something that I've noticed with these type of marriages where the man is the king, he is the alpha, he is the one that makes all the decisions, they are very controlling. And they want to control the wife. You know, the wife can't leave. If a man leaves, yes, but if a woman leaves, hell.
In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it, period. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible.
Wait, it sounds like he doesn't know what co-parenting is. It sounds like he's just discovering that people get divorces and the Bible can't stop them. Steven, you know you can still be in your kid's life after divorce. I hope he's not one of those people that won't be in the kid's life unless the mom stays with, because that's it.
But in today's legal system, my beliefs don't matter.
How dare she be allowed to leave? You know, who would have thought? It was just worded so oddly. Yes, the law is set up so that she can leave. It's very normal.
I loved a woman so much that I married her. A woman who, despite all of this, I still love as the mother of my children. And she wanted something else for her life. That's not my choice. She simply wanted out, and the law says that that's how it works.
Is he saying that he wants there to be laws forcing people to stay together? That doesn't sound very American to me. I personally really like choices. And as you can see, I'm speaking from personal experience all throughout this video because I grew up in a similar type of family because that's what I want to do and it's my channel. I remember being 15 and I was watching Jerry Springer of all shows. By the way, rip Jerry. And there was a man that cheated on his wife with her sister. He was very abusive, cheated with other people, you know, outside of her sister, all of these things. And the wife started saying how she's just going to get a divorce. And I noticed my dad's neck crack when she said that. Out of all the things that was going on, that's what he decides to focus on and starts shaking his head at. And I was like, what? And he said something along the lines of divorce seems kind of extreme, you know, it's wrong, that type of deal, you know, you shouldn't do that. And I was kind of like, what? I said something like, I would get a divorce whenever I wanted. If you breathed wrong, I would get it just for funsies because I have a choice. And if I want to leave a situation, I can, just like my husband can. If he wants to leave, please, let's get away from each other because we shouldn't be together if you don't want to be with me.
You should never leave.
It's something that stuck with me forever. It was really uncomfortable. And from that moment, I knew that he was just a very controlling person. And just the moment that Steven said that, I was like, you are controlling. Let's check that one off. Comments were right about that.
But that's how it works. Now, of course, look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own.
Okay, see, that's not narcissistic. Taking accountability. That, y'all are wrong. He's not narcissistic.
In that I picked wrong, and that's certainly not the fault of my children.
Okay, he did nothing wrong in the relationship except for the fact that he picked the wrong woman that is allowed to leave him. That's where he went wrong. Is everyone getting this? Do we get it in our head? I know we're women. We might be a little slow. Great reflection there, Steven. So there was a time where I was always on the woman's side. You know how it is when you're a woman or a man. If your friends tell you something about their significant other, then you're like, oh, you're so right. What a butthole. You know, all the guys are like, oh, what a bitch. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's horrible. You're a great guy. You're a great girl. You deserve better. As I started growing and really just like looking at people and seeing some of the issues with my friends and the issues with their boyfriends, along with noticing my own problems in relationships, the point I'm trying to make is I notice a lot of people don't self-reflect. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I could have handled some situations better in that relationship. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, oh shit, I think I was a problem. I wasn't the whole problem, but there were some issues there that I need to self-reflect on and be a better person in the future. And it's just very telling that Steven thinks that he messed up. The only reason he messed up is because he chose a woman. Once again, he chose, not her choosing. We didn't choose each other. He chose a woman that wants to leave his ass. Like, he's so significant. He's so amazing that how dare this woman? Like, there's no woman. Like, the right woman would never want to leave him. It's a huge sign that maybe you should self-reflect, especially if both of the sides, who are very into their opinion and very hard to sway, are saying, you the asshole.
I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side.
And that was very interesting that he had to say there was absolutely no abuse coming from either side, especially me over here. And then a journalist on the wife's side decided to release some camera footage, having many people on both sides say, okay, so you are verbally abusive. We see it now in this clip.
The guy in the video that you're about to watch is a conservative Christian who's about to verbally abuse his pregnant wife. It's Steven Crowder, and by the way, as a Christian, he's no Christian. This Steven Crowder guy has been a mouthpiece for the right wing for a long time. And when he announced that he and his wife were getting a divorce earlier this week, he made it sound like nothing bad had happened. Well, now we've got the video. So, take a look.
No, you just did it. I drew a boundary at abusive. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things.
Wifely things. This is what you, like, if you get into relationships like this, you have to do wifely type things. My mom's job was to cook, clean, rub my dad's putrid feet, you know, all those little things. And I'm not saying every single relationship is like this. I have friends that are in traditional type marriages and their husbands seem to be very sweet, at least what they don't tell me things. I do have to say though that my friends are very young, but I see many middle-aged traditional wives speaking up on how that lifestyle was horrible and they got tired of it, but stayed because of kids, social pressure, and of course, God. But then there's the other side of men who think, oh, because I provide, I'm the king of this castle, you do everything I tell you. You listen to me, I'm the man, the king. You do those wifely things. I go get money and sit here and smoke my cigar and my socks.
Then I will go pick up the groceries.
Everything in the grocery store. I do have
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes. How do the man respect? How do the man receive love and respect? No. How do the man respect? No, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
You're not taking the car.
Steven,
You are not
then I
taking
will ask them to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not about Steven.
Get an Uber.
because she's gonna go get an Uber, and now that's a threat for some reason. Doesn't that kind of sound, you know, like the other side? I think liberals are looked at as weak. They're always thinking like conversation is threatening for some reason, and now he's saying that this is a threat because she's gonna go get an Uber.
Okay, Stephen, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Stephen.
Like, I can't
Stephen.
go. Listen to me. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
So I was confused about this. So you're telling me, Stephen, as you sit there cross-legged, cigar in hand, because your wife is going to go to the grocery store and get food for you that you asked her to do with the one car that you guys have, now you are boxed in, you're trapped, you can't go see your friends or family or the gym. She's gonna be gone for about an hour. That was extremely dramatic coming from a guy that banks off people being dramatic. I don't know, man, maybe they're rubbing off on you. A break might be needed.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
See,
Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Stephen.
You're making it work. You do that. The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline and respect.
Stephen.
There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Stephen.
Hillary,
Stephen?
you give up so easily. I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Stephen, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Stephen, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it.
Not the taking a puff of his cigar and saying,
Watch it.
Watch what? These men pick the right woman to sit back and smoke their pipe and cross their legs with their little socks on.
Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem.
Well, then why did you not want the divorce? If you don't love her, why is it a big deal that she wanted to leave? You guys should separate. It's a no-brainer. Now keep in mind, this footage got leaked after the divorce announcement. So let's think about this for a bit. I personally think that Crowder is being mentally manipulative to his ex-wife now. But you know what he's also trying to do? Mentally manipulate his very God-fearing Christian, marriage is everything type audience. And in fact, he's doing what people do in his videos that he says are babies or screaming liberals, playing the victim. In his announcement video, he says, I'm still in love with my wife. I didn't even want the divorce. She left me with nothing. You were singing a different tune behind closed doors, sugar lumps. You just lied to all of us. So apparently this whole thing was about, I mean, obviously there's other things that it's about, but this conversation got sparked because she wouldn't put on gloves. I see a lot of people saying, well, why did you just put on the gloves? It's not that big of a deal. If it's not that big of a deal, then why is he having this weird reaction about gloves? Clearly, the gloves are a big deal.
Hillary, you're right, we're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife worthy.
Did you hear that? She is not worthy. A lot of things that I read with these type of men, or like when you go into these alpha male places and you read the comments, and they always say this whole, they need it, there's no woman that's worthy of a wife for me. Keep in mind, there are women that I hear, you know, if you go to those spaces that really hate men, it goes both ways. That there's no man worthy of me. Like y'all are royalty or something. It's sad that he's saying you need to become a wife worthy of me. So he obviously thinks very highly of himself.
No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife.
As a wife.
Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need.
All right, this is important because she says, I'm not gonna engage. We need to stop this because it's getting way too heated. You want to walk away. Now, something that I do see when it comes to like narcissists or like people that I've been around that are like textbook narcissists, they want the conversation to keep going because they want to be right. They want themselves to look good, and they want the other person to look bad.
I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you, I'm committed to you. Walk the dogs, put on some gloves. Walk the dogs, put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
walk the dogs.
And that was it. The whole conversation sparked because she wouldn't walk the dogs and put on some gloves at 8 months pregnant. Why you need to wear gloves right now? I'm not too sure. Why he couldn't walk the dogs? I don't know. Takes about 20 minutes of your time, especially, if you're not pregnant. Something else that I never really thought would happen, or I just wasn't expecting, is that Candace Owens and Steven Crowder are battling it out.
Many other people knew about this behind the scenes. Some, not all, but some of them in positions of power, influence, leverage, knew of this. So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well.
Steven is under the impression that Candace Owens allegedly knew about his divorce and threatened to tell people unless he gave her some type of compensation. Well, Candace ain't having it and says, Steven, anyone could have picked up on your divorce because you both unfollowed each other on Instagram. I am living for it. Two worlds that I really don't care about, that I had no interest in, is now making me interested. See what drama does? Just brings people together.
So much that I want to say here. First and foremost, if you're a person that watches his show, how do you not see that he is so obviously acting and that he is a very bad actor? Do you feel bad for him when he says that? When he says, if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, well, if you are familiar with the idea of extortion, you should realize that that video that he just showed of me wasn't that. Nobody threatened him. Nobody made demands behind closed doors. His insinuation that I knew about his divorce before he decided to attack the Daily Wire is a pointed lie. Let me tell you what actually went on behind the scenes. Crowder on election night was our friend. He was on the backstage with all of us, laughing, having a great time. He even sent me a retrospectively very flirty message thereafter on Instagram about how nice I looked on election night, even though I didn't respond to it.
Wait, hold up. I'm interested in that part. The text messages, honey, post them. I want to see them, post them up. Are you saying Steven Crowder slid up in your DMs? Girl, he's trying to get a piece of chocolate. And then, because Candace Owens is such a good person, invites his ex-wife onto her show to help her. And really, I want to help your wife because you essentially just used your platform. Millions of people have access to your platform. She doesn't have the same, to insult her. You picked the wrong woman, okay? So here's what I would like to do. I would like to invite Hillary Crowder onto my platform because she doesn't have one and because her ex-husband apparently just used his to insult her, to say that he picked the wrong woman. I find that to be really despicable. I'm sure she's doing that out of the kindness of her heart and not to try and stick it, turn it, and then stab again. Steven Crowder. But just saying, I would probably watch that. So now Steven is speaking out, and my God, you guys, he played the bitch is crazy.
Broken marriages are ugly, and in them people do ugly things. Myself, of course included, I would never claim otherwise. However, due to recent misleadingly edited leaks to the tabloid press without context and not subject to consequences of the court, well, if not privacy, the next best option is truth. So today, I have filed a motion to officially unseal all files as they relate to the matter of legal record. Finances, relevant medical records, including mental health history or evaluations.
Ladies, men out there, sounds like he is going to claim that she is either mentally ill or unstable. So many of these type of people, and it goes from both sides. They just can't fathom that someone else doesn't want to be with them. It has to be that she's mentally unstable and unwell. That's why she's leaving, because she's crazy. What else could it be? It can't be me. Quick little story time, you guys. Like I said, I deal with a lot of narcissistic type people in my family. So there's this couple in my family. The woman got into a very tiny, minuscule car accident, nothing major. The back of the car got a little dinged up. The wife later that year asks for a divorce. Similar marriage to Crowder and his wife. The woman does the 24/7 job of being a housewife, and the husband thinks since he works 8 hours a day, he doesn't have to do anything at home. Very controlling because he makes money, and he's also the king. Talks to her like she's a maid, and very condescending, similar to the 3-minute video we saw of Crowder. So she wants a divorce. He tried everything to make her stay. Jesus, the kids, money, etc., etc. She leaves anyway. He spreads to family, friends, and definitely people in the neighborhood that she got brain damage from the tiny car accident, because why else would she leave him? He would rather people think she's mentally fucked than realize that maybe I'm part of the problem. But he's very upset, and he said, well, since she's releasing things, I'm gonna release things too. So coming this week, he says that it's He's gonna release some things that's gonna change all of our minds, so I'm waiting for that. Something else that I thought was really funny, people were saying, well, this was her whole plan. She set up that camera. Who has cameras in their house? This is all part of her plan. Well, like, if she was a real godly woman, she wouldn't release this. She'd keep it private. 21. What year do you live in? I've got cameras all up in my house. If someone's doing something in my house, I'm gonna know. 2, if you were going through a divorce and you saw your wife online saying certain things and saying it wasn't abusive at all, and then you got this tape here showing this clip that kind of shows what type of person he is, would you not want to show the world that? Don't you fucking lie to me. It just reminded me of when I was on the outside looking in on my parents' marriage. I personally don't think breakups, divorces are bad at all. I celebrate divorces, I celebrate breakups. Michelle, you don't take marriage or relationships seriously. You're a bad woman, you're not a real woman. Okay, calm down. I don't think people should be embarrassed about breaking up. I don't think people should stay with someone that they don't want to stay with. I think they are great, okay? If one person in a marriage doesn't want to be there or in a relationship is toxic or it's just bad, a breakup, a divorce is a beautiful thing. I'm super happy I have a choice to do that. Steven Crowder doesn't like it, but I do.
You call me a saint, but you know I'm a stranger, all willing and able to do what you want. You think I'm a thinker, but I'm